Hitler in Heaven, Pope Francis in Hell, and the surprising connection to why Santa Claus is the best missionary in the history of Christianity. Got your attention with that title, right? And I know you're asking, seriously, dude? Hitler? That Hitler? In Heaven? And the recently deceased Pope Francis, the freaking Pope, the head of the Roman Catholic Church Pope, in Hell? And what, by God, does either one of those things have to do with Santa Claus at all? Well, you need to read this book. Grin, though to be clear, I did modify Holloway's premise for purposes of this review. In the text, Holloway actually uses Mother Teresa rather than Pope Francis, but I thought Pope Francis was more relevant to the current moment while serving the exact same purpose. Slightly smiling face, I fully cop to the simple fact that the title of this review, and indeed most of it to this point, is openly written to attempt to trigger the outrage machine, as Tobias Rose Stockwell called it in his book of the same name almost 2 years to the day before this book is released, Algospeak, as Adam Alexic proclaims it in his book of the same name releasing on the same day as this book. My duty as a reviewer is first to be completely honest about my thoughts on a given book, but second to do everything in my power to help promote my review of the book, and thus the book itself, so this is an experiment in that line of thinking. Seriously, this book is all about the pros and cons of Santa Claus, as seen by an ordained Baptist minister who actively dons the red and white suit every year and openly professes his love of nearly all things Christmas and Santa. Yet even though Holloway is quite open with his natural bias here, he is also quite thorough in looking through the common complaints of Santa and examining each in turn. Both from the left, shaming isn't cool, y'all, and we need to protect the feelings of the young flowers, and from the right, heresy. There is nothing about Santa in the Bible. And Holloway truly does a pretty even-handed look at all aspects of the complaints at hand, writing as both defense lawyer and prosecutor of both sides. Truly, it works quite well, and since he uses a very conversational tone, it also reads quite easily. Further, at barely 150 pages, this is also a very quick read. I read it in under 3 hours, and that included getting a few chores done around the house preparing for my sister-in-law to arrive later today as I write this review. Truly, anyone interested in any form of Christmas, even the secular, Santa Rudolph-only version, will appreciate the overall discussion here, as while this is an explicitly Christian book and Holloway explicitly talks about using his time in the soup to spread the Christian message. Part of the whole, best missionary in the history of Christianity bit. Though read the book to see what Holloway does with this and how carefully and sensitively he approaches it. This is truly a book that looks at several non-religious arguments for and against Santa as well, and these discussions could be beneficial to even the most ardent secularist, anti-Christian. Indeed, the only reason for the star deduction is that even though Holloway does include at least some footnotes at the end of each chapter, they're all brief enough that I dare say they wouldn't quite get to the 15% or so of the text that even my recently relaxed bibliographic standards require in order to get the full amount of stars in the rating. Truly an well-written quick read that does everything it sets out to do, and maybe a bit more. Very much recommended.